Oh my god. It's so nice to be back in the office, the headquarters, if you will. No more of this undisclosed location bullshit.
Bullshit.
It was an office and a warehouse and all this fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here. We have our mic stand in the usual place with the mic pointed 2/3 towards Justin and 1/3 towards me because I am much louder and more booming with my voice. And we're here to talk about some metal stuff. Right, Justin?
Good metal stuff.
Good metal stuff.
Good.
We're not going to talk about bad metal stuff. That just seems silly.
Before we get into things, I just want to ask you if you've ever heard of this band. It's a band I've been listening to lately. Iron Maiden?
Iron Maiden?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't really sound like anything I would have listened to.
They're these guys that
it's
play
guys.
amazing music.
Oh, okay. And maybe I've heard like a song or two. Are they popular?
They have an album out called Power Slave.
That's their only album?
I think they have one or two more.
Yeah, they got a couple, probably.
But I've been listening to Power Slave over the past couple days.
That's good.
And I enjoy it. Since you're new to them.
Yeah, I'll have to check them out.
I don't know. I mean, you'll have to Google, but you have to really search it because I don't know. I doubt they'll come up under that name. You probably get something stupid. So, anyways, we're here to. What?
Oh, huh?
We're here to talk to you guys today about a couple different things. Before we do, we're going to talk to you guys about a couple other different things.
Yep.
And that has to do with some of our reviews this past week. I'd just like to mention a couple.
Yeah, we're each gonna. I think we're gonna try this format where we talk about like our big review of the week. We're each gonna pick like the one that really stuck the most, whether it's good or bad. Could be shitty.
Just
we could have another Lotus Circle.
I love those guys.
So Justin, tell us about your Lotus Circle for the week.
I did the review for Testament's new album, Dark Roots of Earth, and
New Testament, huh?
Yeah, they've been around for quite some time now. And I've been on and off. I've, checked out some of the things before. And they've just never been a band that I actually sat down and really, got into.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the music's good. And, like I said, I mean, I know they're, they have their fan base and everything. But I was actually really surprised. Like, I really liked the album. Everything was crystal clear. The vocals were actually really aggressive. And I just, for some of these older bands, I think, like, how long can you give those aggressive vocals,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not growling, but it is definitely, like, a shouting type of vocal and clean singing. But, I really like the vocals. The guitar work is ridiculous. I didn't know how amazing that their guitarists were in the band, but they were fucking insane. And then on top of that, I mean, you had your double bass and different blast beats and whatnot. And it was really good. I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10, and I don't know if it's not like top 10 material of the year type of deal, but it's definitely an album worth listening to and probably owning too. I don't know. Did you see the album cover?
I did.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I do like it a lot.
Yeah, that was like the one thing where I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to really take a listen to these guys, just from the album cover. And like I said, I've listened to some of their older stuff, but there wasn't anything that really like grabbed me right off the bat. So, but this was definitely an interesting album.
Now they've been around. Looking at their bio here, 1983, so almost 30 years now.
Yeah.
But they have had the most ridiculous revolving door of musicians.
Oh yeah.
And some of the guys are original members. Eric Peterson is an original member still in the band.
Mm-hmm.
And Greg Christian, who's the bass player, still in the band.
Yeah.
But they had a different guitar player, Derek Ramirez. He left, and Alex Skolnick, who was the name of the one person in the band whose name I always remember. He came, but then he left to do some jazz stuff.
He's back now.
He's back now. Yeah. Gene Hoglan was not their original drummer, but he was their drummer for a while, and he's back now.
Yeah.
So I mean, the drumming's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that was him doing the drumming.
Gene fucking Hoglan. But so almost 30 years now. I would say that they're a pretty well respected thrash band.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get 700,000 Facebook fans by being a shit band.
Yeah, yeah.
So where do you think they stack up in like that whole big four? Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax. Where do you think Testament falls?
I think they should be above Anthrax.
Yeah?
I could see them being there before Anthrax, definitely.
Interesting.
I don't know. Anthrax was good. I guess same thing with them. Like I never really explored their music.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't judge it too much. But from what I heard, like I saw them live once and a little bit more recently. But
we'll get into that next week.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it was good. It was a good performance. You know, they kept you entertained.
Yeah.
You know, better than Megadeth did. But I think that hearing this album, I mean, I can only imagine how they are live, and I definitely think they should have been. I could see them being part of the four, the big four.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I never thought
something
of
to think about.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple bands out there that you could mix in there, with the big four. But oh, and the lead singer is Chuck Billy.
Chuck Billy, yeah.
But he actually wasn't the original.
Nope, he was not.
This guy looks like Steve Souza, and then before that, Derek Ramirez, who was actually their guitarist as well.
Yeah, I mean it's weird to see a band change members, so many.
Yeah.
And still.
Yeah, I'm looking at a chart and it's like a rainbow.
Yeah, it really is.
The colors.
It really is.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's good music, good. But was there something you wanted to talk about there, Darrell?
Yeah, I can talk about something.
A review.
I have never been a fan of the idea of a split, which for those of you who don't know, a split is when two bands, sometimes three, each do a couple songs. They release a joint EP. We'll call it that. So I've never been big on that because my whole thing is just put out an EP of your own. You don't need another band. Just do 4 songs of your own and put out your own EP. But when I see that one of your bands that you have reviewed in the past, Officium Triste, the Masters of Doom from Holland, and then a German band called Ophis, or Office for the uninitiated, are putting out this split called Immersed. I kind of went like, oh, well, Officium Triste, I like them a lot. I've never really heard Ophis before, but I'll check it out. And as far as 2 lesser-known Doom bands, this is about as good as it gets. So from Officium Triste, you get a lot of the really heavy Doom, followed by the lighter melodic passages, which I really like from them. They're almost in the Death Doom style. They're almost, the Swallow the Sun Draconian era, rather than, traditional Doom. But they give you a little bit of melody in there. So they have 2 songs on here. One is called Repent, and the other is Bittersweet Memories. And both of them just really strong tracks. The growls are fantastic. Everything you could expect from them. Now, Ophis is a little more traditional. Less melody, if any at all. There's like little tiny bits. But it's more, just gritty Doom. And I really like that too. And I think that the cool thing is that bands like this, when they put out a split, it gives you, let's say you're a fan of Officium Triste, but you never heard Ophis, you get this split. Now you get 2 songs, like to sample, like, oh, this is what this band sounds like. So you end up using it as a way to get into both bands.
I was gonna ask you like what the point of splits are.
Really, a lot of times it's they're on the same label or they're friends or whatever, and it's like, hey,
help each other out.
You're helping each other out because you're appealing to both fan bases, which is never a bad thing.
Yeah, because I would say Officium Triste is a little more known.
Yeah,
than
it would appear that way, but all in all, it's a really good split, and Officium Triste has a new album coming out. So this is like, in addition to their new album, and it's good. It's nothing too
nothing crazy.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Nothing where you like, oh my god, I if I don't hear this, I'm gonna fucking kill someone.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was good. And now that I've heard Ophis, I think I could probably get into them quite a bit, because I think they do some good things in the doom realm.
Interesting.
So anyway, those were our ones that we wanted to kick around.
Yeah, check them out.
So can you believe that it's August?
No, I can't actually. That's fucking ridiculous.
This year's going really fast.
Yep.
And it's kind of scary how fast it's going. But that said, because it's August, we need to pick a motherfucking band of the month. Now, band of the month, it flows nicely off the tongue. Band of the month.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people in the quote metal community who just can't say 3 or 4 words in a row. So for the fans of bands like Between the Buried and Me, otherwise known as BTBAM, I think we should just start calling our band of the month BOTM.
BOTM.
Or BOTM.
I think there's
or BOTM.
I think there's a bottom.
Or BOTM. Just shorten it up, so the morons who listen to that... Oh, did I say? I'm sorry. So the jackasses who listen to that music and think it's great, maybe they'll, kind of get into our podcast and our bottom.
Yeah, sounds weird.